Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Sit and Run podcast. What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Hey, I want to apologize for not posting a podcast for Monday, January 15th, 2018, but it is Tuesday, January 16th, 2018, one day late on posting a podcast this week. I would like to apologize for that. Yesterday was a pretty good day. I was pretty busy. Let's see here. I actually had work from 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then right after work, I came home and had some whole wheat pasta, people. And I got to tell you, it's actually not too bad. It's not really the big difference. It's not a big difference from the beautiful, thick, white spaghetti noodles that I'm used to. But I did put extra tomato sauce in it. That's probably why it was still as delicious as the spaghetti that I'm used to. So I chowed down some spaghetti, and then I went with a good buddy of mine to go on a hike for a couple of hours, and that was a lot of fun. And then right after that, I completely destroyed the whole purpose of just going on a nice little workout. I went to a burger place, Rodeo Burger, right there in Norco, California. And then pretty much came home and I knocked out because this morning I had to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning because I had work at 5 in the morning. And right now I am on my lunch hour. On my lunch hour at home, I had pasta again. And of course, I forgot to put my fucking phone on silent. But hey, guess what? I got a poem of the day. It looks like I'm going to read Don't Drive Me Away by Lucia May Alcott. Interesting. Don't drive me away, but heart what I say. Bad men want the gold. They will steal it tonight. Ooh, that's just the beginning of the poem. Yeah, check it out, guys. It's called "Don't Drive Me Away" by Louisa May Alcott. So I'll be reading that poem a little bit later today. But I got to keep this podcast short because my lunch is actually almost over. And I'm just, checking in on you guys. I usually post one of these podcasts every single Monday. I did post a podcast last week. You will notice that I probably had about 5 or 6 people listen to the interview with myself and Chris Bautista, a very talented singer and actor. But the kind gentleman asked me to take the podcast down because somebody was a little insecure and thought he sounded like a douchebag. And I got to tell you, if you're going to be on my podcast, if you're going to ever be on my podcast, I just want you to know it's an interview, but it's not really an interview. Of course, I'm going to ask about your personal life. And of course, I'm going to, be like, hey, man, what kind of projects you got going on? Of course, we're going to talk about the projects, but I do this fucking podcast for free. Literally nobody pays to listen to it. It's on YouTube, it's on SoundCloud, it's on iTunes, and it's free, and nobody sponsors me. It's an independent podcast. So I take it seriously, but I also don't. So just want you to know 50% of the time when I'm doing this podcast, I'm joking. Okay? So just like I don't really know how to explain it. It's just he wanted me to take the podcast down because he didn't like the way he sounded on it. Said he sounded immature. Yeah, good, because we're gonna get a little immature on this podcast. It's the Sit and Run podcast. We just sit here and run our mouths about dumb things, and that's the way it works. Yeah. So I'm just checking in on you, and just I'm just over here watching The Office at home. It's probably one of the greatest shows of all time. It's one of my go-to shows for sure. But yeah, look, this podcast is already 5 minutes, and I'm going to keep it at 5 minutes, and I'm actually eating an English muffin. You guys like English muffins? Oh, nice and crunchy. It comes with a very pleasant crunch. Lion King, Timon. And then I put some butter all between all the little nooks and crannies, and then I just chow it down. But listen, guys, do me a favor. I want you to go to YouTube, and I want you to type in Tom and Rob disorder. My good buddy of mine and I, Nick Wirt and I, have co-created a dark comedy called Tom and Rob Disorder. It is about a bipolar and a sociopath, and they both become roommates. So a lot of crazy stuff is about to happen. And right now we have 2 episodes out. One is the introduction. It's the actual interview that Nick has with that Tom has with Rob. Rob's my character. The interview on getting a roommate. The second episode is called the house tour. So basically, it's funny as hell. I really hope that you guys enjoy what we have so far. Nick and I are actually in the process of writing and creating more episodes, and it's going to be a good show. I hope that you guys enjoy it. Just like, subscribe, comment any feedback. I'd really appreciate it. And then if you guys have any questions and you want me to talk about anything specific on this podcast, you can email me at michaelstcaceres@gmail.com. And yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got. I would have liked to make this podcast longer, but I don't have any other time to do it this week. So this is the podcast, just doing a nice little check-in, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.